Hello, Dragon Mage in training. Today we're going to learn about the different types of dragons, which, as you'll soon discover, they're basically an infinity of. As such, I'm actually not going to spend too much time on this because it can be super overwhelming, especially if you're just starting off on this journey, and it can almost be like this form of like procrastination, perfectionism, to be like, I gotta learn about all the different types of dragons before I start working with my dragon guide. No, just focus on your specific dragon guide or whatever dragons are coming to you, and you can ask them directly, what is your elemental affinity? What type of dragon are you? Where are you from? You can ask them and they will give you the answers, because again, there really isn't much out there on dragons right now, and we're still learning and they're still revealing new things to us each day. So your best and most trusted source is going to be your personal dragons that you work with. That being said, let's start off by focusing on the elemental dragons, because in my experience, these are the ones that are most commonly found on Earth, and they're also the most likely to work one-on-one with humans. They're very open to humans' energy, very understanding, and can be easier to work with than maybe other types of dragons. Very likely, your first dragon guide is going to be an elemental dragon. And fun fact, likely their element is going to align with your dominant element in astrology. So there's a quick cheat there if you're unsure of what yours might be. Of course, this is not always the case, and nothing is really always the case with the dragons, as you'll see. I myself have this background of working in the JET program, which, if you are unaware of what that is, it is this program where you go teach English in Japan. And I was brainwashed by the JET program. They have this saying called EDID. Every situation is different. So today we're going to do a little play on that, and I like to call it EDID. Every dragon is different. So always, when in doubt, consult with your personal dragon and they will tell you. Again though, because I'm a Pokemon nerd, I like to think of, the elemental dragons kind of like as your starter Pokemon. In the games, you get like a fire type, water type, or grass type starter. Usually, not always the case again, but usually it focuses on these three types, right? So that tends to be the case with dragons. Usually your first dragon guide is going to be fire, water, air, or earth, just to keep it simple. And then as you start working with dragons more, just like in Pokemon, you discover more Pokemon, you learn that there's just a quadrillion different types and you can have them all, right? You can catch them all. And the same is true for dragons. Like, the more you work with your guide and just dragon energy in general, the more like different kinds of dragons are going to want to work with you, and you're going to get to learn more and more things. But right now we're just going to keep it simple, again, focusing on these elementals. So what are elemental dragons? In essence, they are an element itself in a semi-physical form. All right. They are protectors, essentially, of these elements, and living embodiments and guardians for their element. And yes, they can actually have more than one elemental affinity, further complicating things. So remember, every dragon is different. EDID. The main types that we're going to focus on in this Dragon E-course are fire, water, earth, air, light, darkness, and also a little bit of storm, which is a super special element, unique to the dragons. And we can talk about that a little bit more later. But there are far more elements than just those. And from my experiences connecting with a bunch of different dragons at this point, like anything you can conceive of, there's a dragon for that, okay? There is definitely a dragon for that. Some of the dragons I've connected with have told me that their element is spirit, ether, time, sound. Just the sky's the limit, really, when it comes to these elemental affinities. Then we have another group or faction of dragons that I'm going to refer to as value dragons, because they, in my experience, are associated with particular values, qualities, or attributes such as love, freedom, harmony, and abundance. And these dragons, they tend to have more of a hard and fast association with colors. And certain color dragons can be more associated with certain qualities. This is also true for elemental dragons, but not quite as strict as maybe some sources would like you to believe. Again, every dragon is different. Every dragon is different. These value dragons are based more on personal forces, right? And that differentiates them from the elementals, because the elementals are focused more on like cosmic elemental forces. So I find that these value dragons, they tend to be more similar to angels in the fact that they don't really have much of a will of their own. They're kind of, in a way, like programs in the Matrix, like, that assist us with things. And they can't really do anything until we ask them, we invite them in. They're made to support us. Then you got the really super cool dragons, the Galactic dragons. And as the name implies, these are dragons from other planets. And again, the sky's the limit here, or the galaxy's the limit. They can be associated with, you know, there's like Mars dragons, Venus dragons, dragons from the Pleiades, from Andromeda, from Arcturus, from all the different planets and places that, you know, starseed beings can originate from. And then some, and there's some that aren't even from specific planets that we even know. Dragons in general, but particularly these galactic dragons, I can't even say the word, they can be associated with particular clans or tribes or factions, and they may have specific, you know, coloring, markings, accessories, or abilities that are unique to their particular clan, tribe, or faction. And then you've got dragons that are quieter and more like animal-like, and you have dragons that are more talkative and wise and more human-like in a sense. And I found, again, in my personal experience, maybe this differs for you, that the quieter dragons that tend to be more like animals, like the How to Train Your Dragon dragons, for example, these ones tend to be younger dragons, like child dragons or baby dragons. And in my experience, as they get older and stuff, and this takes thousands upon thousands of years for dragons typically, that's when they start to become more human-like, and just in the fact that they'll talk, they'll use actual words with you. But again, every dragon's different, EDID, so you could encounter, you know, very old, very ancient adult dragons that don't say a goddamn thing. And I've actually found maybe it kind of reverts too, that like really, really ancient dragons might not say anything because they find words useless. They're just going to be like this looming presence that you're just going to feel, and they don't need words because they're just that fucking awesome. Finally, there are shapeshifters. Now, these could have like part dragon form, part another form, or they could like primarily be a dragon that has the ability to change into other things, or they could be primarily something else that has the ability to change into a dragon. So a good example is actually my personal guide. My main guide is my guardian angel. However, he has the ability to turn into a dragon, and he still identifies slightly more with that angel frequency, but he also has very strong energy about him. Meanwhile, my first dragon guide, she doesn't transform into anything. She's just pure elemental fire dragon energy. Angel dragon hybrids are quite common, and also you can even find human dragon hybrids, and it's quite common, I've noticed, for ascended masters to have a dragon form or multiple dragon forms, like dragons that act on their behalf. But again, to conclude this video, I will say it one more time: every dragon is different. EDID. If you really want to nerd out on the different types of dragons, there are many different sources available for that, and I will attach a PDF that has a list of some of my personal favorites, and you can just have at that if you're the type that is just geeking out about all these different kinds of dragons. And then again, I want to remind you to trust your intuition first and foremost, and to trust what your personal dragon guide or guides tell you, because that is going to be the most resonant, true reality for you. So let me know, what types of dragons have you encountered, if you've encountered any? What kinds seem the most interesting to you? And maybe have you encountered any that I haven't really talked about here today? I would love to hear more. If you're really enjoying this content and like super geeking out and you're like, fuck yeah, personal dragon guides, sign me up, then I would encourage you to check out my course, which I am going to link in the description below, which this is actually the third lesson in the first unit of. I'm posting the whole first unit up on YouTube for free, so you can sort of just test the waters and see how you like it before you make that commitment to the draconic path. But if you're super keen, you can just go ahead and get the whole course below, and you can just also work with me one-on-one, and I can help you meet your personal dragon guide. I can connect in, I can draw a sketch of them, and they'll tell me their elemental affinities or lack thereof, and they'll give me a channeled message for you. So if that sounds cool, again, description below. So if you found value out of this video today, me and the dragons would super appreciate it if you could just do all that fun stuff, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Again, we will love you forever, and we'll love you forever even if you don't do that. Just an FYI. So as always, friends, let me know if this resonated, and until next time, stay powerful.